What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. In this video, we're gonna compare what I expect we're gonna see in terms of price, performance, features, and looks of the Galaxy Z Fold 4 versus what I wish we would see. With that said, let's jump into this video. First, let's talk about the looks of the Galaxy Z Fold 4. What do I think is gonna end up happening is probably the same thing. I think we're gonna see a very, very similar look to what we get with the Galaxy Z Fold 3. I think the two major differences are going to be the under display camera. I think you will see an under display camera again on the big screen as well now on the smaller screen here. I don't think you'll see a camera at the top there anymore. I think that'll be the big difference. I think the camera setup might even look very, very similar to this, or it might look a little bit like the Galaxy S21 phones, which is kind of similar. But ultimately, I think it's gonna look very, very similar in, you know, the width, the weight, everything about the phone, the screens, everything. I think it's gonna look. But what do I wish it really looked like? Is I wish I had a fatter, I don't know about the shortness, but definitely a fatter display on the front so it was actually usable, especially when typing. Now, I also wouldn't mind a bigger display on here. I can live with this, but you know what? If you wanted to give me 8 inches, that sounds dirty, but you know what I mean. If you want to give me 8 inches of display, that would make me even happier. And then beyond that, in terms of just the look of the phone, you know, I'm pretty much happy with it. I don't mind if you make it fatter, heavier, you know, if it gives me better specs at the end of the day. But in terms of looks, that's what I would really, really want. Next, let's talk about some preliminary specs. What do I expect them to put in this? Is a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor, 12 gigabytes of RAM, and then either 256 or 512 gigabytes of storage. Now, what would I really, really want in there? Processor's completely fine with me. I'd love to see a bump to 16 gigs of RAM. Is it necessary? Probably not, but I'd still like to see it. And then for storage, I'd like to see them, since this is like a premium priced phone, I'd like to see them start off at 512 gigs of storage, go up to 1 or 2 terabytes of storage. I know some of you are gonna want the micro SD card. For me, not so important, but for others, I think it's a big deal. But for me, it's the 512 and the 1 terabyte of storage. Now, the Galaxy Z Fold 3 does have a water rating, but it doesn't have a dust rating. I do expect them to add IP68 dust and water resistance into the Galaxy Z Fold 4. What would I love? That's absolutely fine with me. I couldn't really wish for anything more than that. But yeah, it's cool to have the IP68, and I think we will see that this year. Next, let's talk about cameras, because the cameras on the Z Fold 3, for me, at times are pretty underwhelming. This camera underneath the display is completely underwhelming. This one's much better that's on the front display. The cameras on the back, they're okay. You can get a nice photo, don't get me wrong, you can get some nice video, but the S21 Ultra is definitely a better camera phone at that. What do I think we're gonna see on the Z Fold 4? I think we're gonna see the same camera setup that we get on the Galaxy S21. Now, I do think these ones that are underneath the display maybe won't be as good as what you get on a Galaxy S21 in terms of their over the top, selfie cameras. But I think the new under display cameras are gonna be much better than the Z Fold 3s were. And then I also think the back cameras on the Z Fold 4, since they're gonna be S21 comparable, I think they're gonna be a fair amount better than what you get with this phone. A ton better, no, but I think some better AI will go into it to give us a nicer and better looking photo and better video. What would I absolutely love to see on these phones is I would love to see a Galaxy S22 Ultra camera setup. I want to see the best of what Samsung has to offer in terms of cameras on the back here, on the front, on this one as well. I need and I want to see that. Are we going to see it? Probably not. I think we're going to be stuck with that S22 camera. I think I said S21 in the beginning of this little part, but I meant S22. So S22 for the win is what we're going to see. But ultimately, again, I would love to see an S22 camera setup on the Z Fold 4. In terms of the fingerprint sensor, I still think they're going to add a side-mounted fingerprint sensor. I really hope they don't put an under-display fingerprint sensor. I love the side-mounted fingerprint sensor. I hope they go with that again. I expect them to go with that again. What would I absolutely want and love? I'd want this one, to be honest with you. I really love these side-mounted fingerprint sensors. So hoping Samsung doesn't change anything. Next would be the S Pen. Now, the S Pen was compatible with the Z Fold 3, except it didn't fit anywhere in the phone. Is that an end of world problem for me? No, because I don't use the S Pen, but I do expect them to do something similar, but to add Bluetooth functionality with the Z Fold 4. What I expect them to do is come out with a case that either comes with the phone or that you can purchase with S Pen, that it will charge on the back of the phone wirelessly when you have it on the back there. It'll stop charging when it's fully charged. But it'll have a little opening for the case that where it can fit right on the back, kind of like their tablets do, and it will charge on the back of there and give you complete Bluetooth functionality. What would I absolutely love to see is them have a S Pen compatible Z Fold 4 phone where the S Pen goes directly into the phone somewhere so that I don't have to use a case with it in order to house it. But again, I do expect them to come out with some kind of in-between thing with the Z Fold 4 where it charges on the back and you have to get a case, but you get a little bit more functionality out of the S Pen at the end of the day. One other thing I wanted to mention about the looks and feel of the phone is the display. Now, I know some of you hate, or you think you hate, or maybe you do hate, but a lot of you have even played with this phone are like, I hate the divot in the screen. I don't even notice it. I do think they're going to improve that ever so slightly. I don't think they're going to improve it a lot because I think they want to keep the prices low. But ultimately, I think this would be slightly improved on the inside display. Battery on the Z Fold 3 was 4,400 milliamps, and the battery life overall, pretty bad, at least for me and a lot of other people. I do expect them to increase the battery size on the Z Fold 4. I think it's going to be at 4,500 milliamps battery, which is not going to give us a lot more battery life. But what I would love to see with that is for them to give us a 5,000 or more battery, so we can get a little bit better battery life than what I do now. Would I love a 10,000 milliamp battery? Potentially, but it's going to make the phone really, really heavy. So I think that happy medium is to get us up to 5,000 milliamps on the Z Fold 4. I don't think they will. I think it's going to be at 4,500. Wired charging on the Z Fold 3 was 25 watts. I think we're going to see 45 watts on the Z Fold 4. I would absolutely love to see 65 watts or more. I want to charge this thing really, 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 really fast. But ultimately, I think they're going to stick us with 45 watts, which is okay. It's going to compete with the S22 Ultra, but it still would be nice to see something faster. Lastly is price. What do I expect the price to be? Well, I think since they're not giving us everything that we probably want with the Z Fold 4 in terms of like the best cameras, the best everything about this, the most modern look. I think they're going to keep the looks the same a lot to this because they can get the price lower. If they do, I think we're ultimately going to see a price that is out the door. I think you're going to see a price of $1,500 for the Galaxy Z Fold 3. And that's for me, obviously I want to pay less if I can for a better phone. And I think they're going to give you a very small upgrade when it comes to everything with the Z Fold 3 to the Z Fold 4. But I would love, love, love to see the best of the best of the best of the best of everything about the Galaxy Z Fold 4 taken from all the other phones and maybe some new stuff as well. And I'd personally be willing to pay up to $2,000 again, like you did with the Z Fold 2 pretty much, and the Z Fold 1. Those phones were much closer to $2,000 than this was, but ultimately I think we're gonna finally see something that's close to $1,500. If it doesn't get to $1,500, I fully expect it to be $1,599 to $1,699 for the starting price of the Z Fold 4. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your projections and thoughts about the Galaxy Z Fold 4. What do you expect to see versus what you want to see? Put it in the comments down below. We'll see you guys down the road. Peace.